Welcome back to another tutorial in the Vaicom tutorial series. This is part 3 of our look at using SRS or VOIP with Vaicom and the different options available. Okay, so we have the Vaicom UI up, multiplayer tab is where it all is, and we have VOIP control. Now we've looked at broadcast parallel, that's the mode I use, TX link, which is widely used, and lastly we're going to now look at dynamic switching. Now, dynamic switching, I'll preface it with, I personally don't see a really big use case for it. As an overarching statement, it prioritizes voice attack ahead of your VoIP or SRS transmissions. So if I bring up SRS, which we'll need to help us test, and because I'm not going to connect to DCS, I'm just going to connect to an SRS server. In this case, it's the Vaicom public server. It's connected now and the VoIP is activated. I'm going to use the AWACS overlay and connect to external AWACS mode. That way I can just pretend I'm online and I have the channels here, and I'll select one with an active participant. In this case, it'll be my trusty SkyEye bot on 255.5, and there she is, and we'll use her to help us test. Now, we'll run through the options first here. We have dynamic switching enabled. Use the switch command, which allows us to use a specific Vaicom command, which is switch, and that will switch between listening or transmitting on voice attack and transmitting on SRS in this case. Auto switch, which means once a command has been sent, it will then switch, and as long as you're holding the transmit key down, it'll switch automatically over to transmit on your VoIP or SRS. And then ignore select, which is basically, if you issue a select command in Vaicom, it won't switch, and the reason why you would want to do that is you usually use select for tuning a channel, or frequency. So if I said something like Anderson select, it won't then transmit out on SRS automatically. Hold AI transmissions until I release the PTT. That allows me to continue talking out through SRS, and then the DCS transmission will come back to you, and a sound notification for when the switch takes place. So we'll leave that selected. I won't worry about this because we're not actually in DCS, so hold AI transmission is not really relevant. But what we need to do is we'll leave the switch command so we can play with that, auto switch on, and ignore select on, and we'll look at all three options. So the first thing to note, this little green indicator here, it tells us whether we are transmitting on SRS, and at the moment we're not because it's not lit up. If I press my transmit button for SRS and for voice attack, you see it doesn't light up because that's because I haven't used the switch command, or I haven't issued a command and allowed it to open transmission on SRS. So let's try the switch command and we should see that light up. Switch. There it is, it's lit up, and you heard that very low thud sound. That is the notification that we are now broadcasting out clean on SRS. Okay, so that's how the switch command works. That's how it prioritizes voice attack ahead of our VoIP or SRS client, and that's why I can't really see a great use case for it, because you prefer to talk to your players more regularly than you do to DCS menus. So let's have a look at what happens when I issue a command and the command's recognized. It will, because we have auto switch, it will automatically switch, and should, as long as I keep holding the PTT, we'll be broadcasting out over the frequency. So for example, if I'll just use the command dark star request picture, and then I'll keep talking. So all that would happen is as that opens up, people will hear me talking, but prior to the command being received, they don't hear anything when I press the PTT. So let's try that, and keep your eyes on the green button here, and you'll see what the state is, and listen for the low thud for the auto switching. Dark star request picture. Okay, so it says there are no AWACS recipients. It's sent the command. Listening is suspended, but we are still transmitting live out over SRS at the moment until I release the PTT, and released. Okay, so that's the auto switching working. Now let's have a look at ignore select. So if I do a select command, in this case, say Anderson select, and we'll see this won't light up. I'll keep the PTT held down, and we won't be transmitting out on SRS. Anderson select. Okay, it's tuned the frequency for us. If we're in game, the command Anderson has been sent, and you can see it's not lit up. I'm holding the PTT down, and we're not transmitting out. Release. Now you saw as I released, it just flashed, and that's Vaicom blocking the SRS transmission, and just that slight timing as I take my finger off, I've just keyed the mic slightly on SRS. Right, so sound notification is that low thud we talked about, and that's pretty much dynamic switching in a nutshell. Now if I take away auto switch, basically anytime I press the PTT, it is only going out on voice attack. So to go out and broadcast to my other players or to the bot, for example, I'd have to say switch and keep holding the PTT and broadcast. So let's try it and talk to SkyEye, which is call sign Magic. Switch. Magic, Jury 2-1, radio check.
Jury 2-1, I read you 5 by 5, but I don't see you on the scope.
Okay, that's because I'm not connected to DCS, so Magic can't see me. So there's the use case for dynamic switching. If it's something that floats your boat, get involved in it. However, I personally feel either TX Link or Broadcast Parallel are better options for the multiplayer community. Anyway, thanks for watching.